Spartanburg Vikings finished 7-5 last season and lost in the first round of the playoffs. New quarterback Zacharian Robinson is going to be the key to the team. If he can stay healthy, the Vikings have a great chance to make a run in the postseason. Let's hear what Doc Davis has to say about his Vikings.
Coach Davis, let's just talk a little bit about the upcoming season and what are your expectations for the Vikings this year?
Well, I certainly hope we're going to be better than we were last year and better than we've been in the last few years. Jason, I feel like from a talent level standpoint, we're probably as talented on paper as we were the last time we won a state championship, or as close as we've been since then. So I think from that standpoint, we've got a great deal of seniors that will start for us and have some good leadership, and I think I've got an excellent coaching staff. And the problem is our competition is going to be extremely good. You know, we could be a really good football team and finish 6-5, the way things work out with the people that we play. But we're excited about the season, and I think the expectation level's up a little bit for us.
I think it's 5 returning starters on the offensive line. Is that right?
Well, we moved Joseph Gromer from the tight end position where he had been a 2-year starter. We moved him to the offensive line, so in essence, it gives us 5 starters back in the offensive line. So that's a good place to start. We're going to have 2 good running backs, we feel like. We moved D. Jones from the defense where he'd been a 2-year starter. Deshard Bird is returning back to our program this year after 1 year off, and of course Zacharian Robinson will be the quarterback. And we feel like with those 3 guys in the backfield at the same time, especially when we're in a 2-back gun, it'll certainly give us an opportunity to mix it up a little bit, and nobody knows who's going to be carrying the football because all 3 of those guys can run it pretty well.
Zacharian's a little different quarterback than you've had in the past, right?
He's a little bit like Brandon Sims was, I think, in the sense that he's a really good athlete and a tough guy. Mm-hmm. He's picked up the passing game a little bit better than we thought he would. He's not he is a receiver playing quarterback, don't get me wrong. His best position is wide receiver, but we just have to get the ball in his hands, and we don't want to be in a situation where we go into a game and when the game's over with, we've lost, and he runs 1 reverse and catches 3 passes, and we lost the game. So the best way to get the ball in his hands, of course, is to put him at quarterback where he's handling the ball on every play.
Mm-hmm. Let's flip sides and talk about the defense. How many guys you got coming back on defense?
Well, if you put D. Jones into the mix, who I just mentioned was coming from the defense, and we're moving him to offensive back, we would actually have 9 starters returning. So with him on offense, it gives us 8 starters returning. And we have experience in most positions. We're concerned mostly at linebacker, but we really had a good spring practice at linebacker. Patrick Esposito is a returning starter at the linebacker position and has done a good job for us. Our defensive front is anchored by Dylan Taylor, who I think is going to be a really good football player for us. He will be a senior and one of the captains of our football team. And our secondary has Darren Foster, who is a returning starter, and he's only going to be a junior. So we have some holes to fill like everybody does, but we feel like the defense may be the thing that kind of keeps us in the games early while the offense is waiting to catch up.
Is that usually the way it is, or just this year the defense?
Well, it's that way for us. For a lot of people, it's kind of the other way around, but especially with a new quarterback. You know, although Zacharian we think is going to be a good one, it's going to take him a while, and he's going to make some mistakes because he hadn't played the position before. He's already made some mistakes in our passing league things, and he'll continue to do that until he gets everything ironed out. And in the meantime, we're just going to have to kind of take our lumps with that and wait for him to develop.
Would you consider yourself a young team or an experienced team?
I guess overall an experienced team, Jason. We have a lot of seniors that will play a pivotal role in our season. We also have some young guys that are going to play. Of course, you always do, but we've got more of a senior team than we did last year. So I think this is a year that's kind of been building for us for the last few years. And being healthy, of course, is the main thing. If you can keep everybody healthy and everybody plays up to their potential, you have a chance. And there's certain things you can't control. They have to practice. You can't put the blanket over them and say you don't practice and you don't scrimmage. And if you do that, they'll never develop into the really good football player that you want them to be. So as a result, we're going to roll the dice and put them in the scrimmages and hope for the best.